Good morning, students. Today I am going to explain in this video the transportation in human being. In the last video, I have explained two life process, that is nutrition and respiration. In this video, I am going to explain about transportation. See, in a multicellular organism, like human being, we always need a supply of different substances like oxygen, digested food, carbon dioxide, removal of metabolic wastage, nitrogenous waste produced. So for these substances to be transported from one place to another place, there is an essential requirement. The requirement to transport this material from one part of the body to other part of the body. This function is performed by the circulatory system, or it is also known as transport system. This transport system in human being basically consists of three parts. First part is a pumping organ, that is our heart. Second part is system of blood vessels, that is arteries and veins. And the third part is circulatory medium, which has to be transported, that is blood and lymph. We can compare this system, our circulatory system, you all must have experienced how the water is transported to our house. Water is first pumped from the groundwater or from the storage tank. For that we need a motor. तो मोटर का जो फंक्शन होता है, मोटर pumps the water to the tank which is on the top floor of the flat or on the top floor of the bungalows. So heart is like a motor. Heart pumps the blood from heart to all parts of the body. The motor does the same thing. It pumps the water from underground to the tank which is on the top floor. Then there is a system of blood vessels to transport the material. We need blood vessels. Same way, to transport the water from ground level to each and every house, we need a network of pipes. You must have seen, there is, even in your own house, there is a large network of pipe through which the water comes. So in our body also there is a network of blood vessels which are known as arteries and veins. Then the circulatory medium which has to be transported, like blood and limbs. In case of water, water is the circulatory medium. So we can understand this transport system in human being by comparing it with transportation of water in our house. So once again, what do we need to transport the oxygen, nutrients, digested food or nitrogenous waste? We need a transport system. In a transport system, there are three things are required: pumping organ, that is heart; system of blood vessels, that is arteries and veins; and capillaries are also there, that I will explain it later. Circulatory medium which has to be transported, that is blood and lymph. Now one by one I will explain all these three parts. First is pumping organ, that is heart. I have drawn a diagram of heart, though it took lots of time, but dear students, you have to practice this diagram, because out of these four processes which are given in this chapter, generally one diagram comes, either respiratory system or digestive system or heart. So you need to draw all these diagrams. You need to practice the diagram. What I did, I first draw the diagram with pencil, and then I colored it with wax crayon to make it attractive. Now I'm going to explain this human heart. Human heart. What are the different parts and how does it work? This red part which you are showing, you can see these are the actually veins or blood vessels. The heart consists of 4 chambers. Heart is a muscular organ. There is no bones or etc. It is just a muscles. So this is a actually muscular organ. Its size is like a fist. एक मुट्ठी के बराबर इसकी साइज होती है. और जैसा हम लोग ऐसे शो करते हैं कि हार्ट इज लाइक दिस शेप, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. हार्ट एक्चुअली दिस शेप का होता है. तो it consists of basically 4 chambers. We know, we have understood in respiratory system that there is oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. At the lungs, at the alveolar sac, actually inside the lungs, the blood vessels takes oxygen from the lungs and releases carbon dioxide to the lungs. So blood vessels carries oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. So to avoid the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, there are various chambers in the heart. There are 4 chambers actually, 2 on the left side, 2 on the right side. The upper left side chamber is known as left atrium. Left, and this is left ventricle. This one is right atrium, and this one is right ventricle. Right ventricle. Do not confuse with atrium and ventricle. Upper chambers are atrium and lower are ventricle. Atrium, A comes first, V comes later. So first is atrium and then ventricle. This is left atrium, this is left ventricle, this is right atrium, this is right ventricle. Now, this part is this one. First I'll explain this one. This is aorta. What does it do? I'll explain later. This is aorta. This one is vena cava from upper body, and this one, this part actually is vena cava from lower body. Again, this main part is, first I'll explain this one. This one is pulmonary veins. And this one is pulmonary arteries. This part, blue part, from which the blood is going on. This is known as, I'll take another color. Pulmonary arteries. Then this part is known as septum, which separates the right vessels, blood, right chambers from left chamber, or which separates oxygenated blood from deoxygenated blood. Now, these are the main parts of a human heart. Now I will explain the working of this human heart. What happens actually in the human heart? As I said, the heart is a muscular organ which is as big as our fist, because we have to keep the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood separately. So because of that, it has different chambers. The carbon dioxide rich blood has to reach to lungs, and the oxygenated or oxygen rich blood from lungs has to reach to the heart to get pumped from, to each and every part, each and every cell of the body. Oxygenated blood lung से हमारे heart में आता है through pulmonary veins. Actually, you must be knowing, or I will explain later, that veins carries in our body, veins carries deoxygenated blood and arteries carry oxygenated blood. But two veins and arteries, which are known as pulmonary arteries and pulmonary veins, they have exactly vice versa functions. Here, pulmonary arteries takes deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs to separate the carbon dioxide from blood, and pulmonary veins gets oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart to get it pumped to each and every cell of the body. जनरली आई रिपीट इट अगेन, जनरली वेन्स जो हैं वो डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड कैरी करते हैं. दैट मीन्स कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिच ब्लड आर सर्कुलेटेड इन आवर बॉडी थ्रू वेन्स. वो दैट आई विल एक्सप्लेन इन द सेकेंड पार्ट, सिस्टम ऑफ ब्लड वेसल्स, वेन्स, आर्टरीज एंड capillaries. But veins carries deoxygenated blood, arteries carries oxygenated blood, but there are two pulmonary arteries and pulmonary veins which acts differently. Pulmonary arteries carries deoxygenated blood from heart to the lungs, and pulmonary veins carries oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart. Okay. Now there are vena cava. These two parts are known as vena cava. Through this the deoxygenated blood from our body comes to the right side atrium and ventricle. Now from this vena cava brings blood from upper part of the body to the right atrium, and from this vena cava the deoxygenated blood from our bodies, from different cells of our bodies through veins comes from the lower part of the body. Now one by one I'll explain the function of this. We will explain each step, this process step by step. First of all, oxygen rich blood from the lungs come to the thin walled chamber of the heart on the left atrium. The oxygenated blood from the lungs comes to the left atrium. This left atrium, this chamber of the heart, this left atrium is thin walled chamber. When the left atrium receives the blood, it relaxes, or it क्या बोलेंगे, just relaxes. It relaxes. While collecting blood, the left atrium relaxes. Then after that this left atrium contracts and the left ventricles relaxes or expands, so that the blood comes from left atrium to left ventricle. While receiving the blood, it expands. While removing the blood from this chamber to this chamber, this contracts. When it contracts, it relaxes, and the blood comes here from left atrium to left ventricle. Then when the muscular left ventricle contracts in turns, the blood is pumped out to the body. When it relaxes, it gets blood from left atrium, and when left ventricle contracts, the blood goes to the different cells, different parts, different organ of the human body through this aorta. This part is aorta. So through aorta, the oxygenated blood goes to different organs of the body. Then the deoxygenated blood comes from the body to the upper chamber or right atrium of the human heart through the vena cava, upper vena cava and lower vena cava. As the right atrium contracts, the corresponding this lower or this right ventricle relaxes. So the blood comes here from right atrium to right ventricle, and when the right ventricle contracts, the deoxygenated blood goes to lungs through these pulmonary arteries. Because the ventricles, either left ventricles or right ventricles, these have to pump blood into various organs, various tissues, various cells of the body. They have thicker muscular walls than aorta. From aorta, these two ventricles have thicker walls. and there is valve between left part between atrium and ventricle. This valve ensure that the blood does not flow backward direction. This is valve, this is valve. When the blood comes here and when it contracts, this left ventricle contracts, this valve ensures that this blood does not go back to the left atrium, but it should go through the aorta to different parts of the body. Similarly, there is a valve. So when right ventricle contracts, it ensures that the blood from the right ventricle does not go back to the right atrium. Rather, it should go to the lungs through this pulmonary veins. So this is the function of human heart. Now, we know that there are three parts of transport system. First is pumping organ, that is heart. I explained the different parts of the heart. This is the separating valve, which is known as septum, which separates left part of the body or oxygenated blood from right part of the body, that is which has deoxygenated blood. Now I will explain system of blood vessels, that is arteries and veins. Arteries are the blood vessels which carry blood from heart to various parts of the body. All the arteries except pulmonary arteries carry oxygenated blood. As I have said earlier also, pulmonary arteries carries deoxygenated blood from right ventricle to lungs. These arteries have thick elastic and muscular walls because the blood is under high pressure. When the blood comes from the heart, it comes out under high pressure. So these arteries have thick wall, they have elastic and muscular wall. They don't have walls, while veins have walls. These veins are the other blood vessels, that is veins. They carry blood from body parts towards the heart. All the veins except the pulmonary veins, all the veins carry deoxygenated blood. These pulmonary veins carry oxygenated blood from lungs to the left atrium, but all the veins carry deoxygenated blood. The veins have thin, less elastic and muscular walls in comparison to arteries. Arteries have thick walls because the blood is under high pressure. The veins have thin wall and less elastic wall. The walls of veins are provided with valves to prevent the backflow of the blood. In the veins there are valves which prevents the flow of blood backward. Then there are another type of blood vessels which are known as capillaries. What are they? Actually, capillaries. Actually, these arteries or veins, after reaching the, they start from the heart and then they go to different organs, different tissues, and finally they reach to the each and every cell of the body. Because you know, अगर कहीं पे भी हमारा कट होता है, whether it's finger or toes or head or chin, everywhere, whenever it cuts, blood comes out. That means blood has to reach each and every part of the body, each and every cell of the body, because blood carries oxygen, and because of oxygen the energy is released. All these things you have studied. So these arteries, veins has to reach to the blood through this blood vessels has to reach to each and every cell. So capillaries are the smallest blood vessels which has one cell thick wall. All of you know the one cell is so small. So these capillaries are actually smallest or smaller blood vessels which are connected to cellular level. These capillaries join to form venules, veins, and finally vena cava. Actually, we can say capillaries are fine microscopic vessels, blood vessels. Arteries branch out into smaller and smaller and smaller arterioles which finally form capillaries. Walls or capillaries is one cell thick. Through these thin capillaries wall, oxygen and carbon dioxide, dissolved food, and waste, nitrogenous waste products, etc., are exchanged with the cells. We know oxygen is produced in the cell, so carbon dioxide is produced in the cell, so the excess carbon dioxide from the cell has to be taken out to the blood vessels. So these capillaries took out this carbon dioxide from the cell and takes the oxygen to each and every cell. So these three things, arteries, veins and capillaries, are the various blood cells in our human body. Then the third part, circulatory medium, that is blood and lymph. The circulatory medium which transport from one part of the body to other part of the body are basically blood and lymph. Blood and lymph, I'm going to explain one by one. First thing is blood. Blood is a liquid connective tissue. This you have studied in class 9. This tissue has a fluid matrix which is known as plasma, and there are three kinds of blood corpuscles suspended in this plasma, which are RBC, WBC and platelets. So first thing, what is plasma? Plasma is a pale colored fluid which basically contains 55% of the blood volumes. How much it contains? 55% volume of the blood, and this one blood corpuscles consist of 45% of the blood volume. This plasma contains basically water, mainly water and some other substances. 90 to 92% it contains, plasma contains 90% to 92% water, and remaining 8 to 10%, remaining 8% to 10%, it consists of mainly plasma protein like albumin, fibronizone, globulins, etc. Some nutrients like glucose, amino acid, fatty acid, glycerol, then some respiratory gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide, then some nitrogenous waste excretory substances like ammonia, urea, uric acid, etc. Some minerals, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, mineral ions actually, and some enzymes like hormones, antibodies, etc. So all this substance consists of only 8 to 10%, and remaining 90 to 92% is water inside the plasma. Now comes to blood corpuscles. As I said, blood, it consists of three things: RBC, then WBC, and then platelets. These blood corpuscles consist of 45% volume of the total blood. Now, I'll explain one by one RBC, WBC and platelets in short. This RBC, they contain iron pigment which is known as hemoglobin, which carries the oxygen, you know. RBC are manufactured in bone marrow. Their lifespan is about 120 days after they are destroyed by the liver and spleen. It helps, basically, it helps in absorbing the oxygen from the lungs and enables them to travel in very fine blood capillaries throughout the body of our throughout the body of a human being. Now, WBC. WBC, they are actually WBC or white blood corpuscles are actually antibodies. They manufacture antibodies which fight against disease causing germs, and they are also responsible for the immunity. If we say that someone has good immunity or high immunity, that means they have good blood good WBCs, And if someone has less immunity, these people actually lack in WBC. In fact, WBC are called soldiers of the body. They are manufactured, the WBC are also manufactured in bone marrow like the RBC. Now, the third blood corpuscles are platelets. You know the function of platelets, you must have studied in your earlier classes. Whenever we get some injury and blood vessels is ruptured, वो फट जाता है and blood started flowing through our body, and if bleeding does not stop, then the excess loss of blood is very harmful for us. Sometimes it may lead to death also. So to avoid this situation, the body has its own natural device. This is the platelets. The blood loss is actually prevented by forming a blood clot. Blood clot जमा हो जाता है, which stops the blood leakage. These platelets play a major role in forming the blood clots. So whenever there is injury, whenever there is loss of blood, these platelets are responsible to check the blood leakage. So we have studied about the circulatory medium blood, which consists of plasma and blood corpuscles. And then now we will study about lymph. Lymph is another type of fluid which also helps in transportation of various material. This fluid is also called tissue fluid, or also known, this lymph is known as tissue fluid or interstitial fluid. Lymph flows only in one direction, that is from tissue to heart. Actually, what happens when there is a through the pores present in the wall of the capillaries, some amount of plasma, protein and blood cells goes into the intercellular space in the tissues to form the tissue fluid or lymph. This is similar to plasma blood, but it is actually colorless and it contains less protein. This is the difference between plasma and lymphs. Plasma contains more protein and colorful red color, but this lymph is colorless and contains less protein. This lymph drains into lymphatic capillaries, from the intercellular space to lymphatic capillaries, from lymphatic capillaries to large lymph vessels, and from large lymph vessels to larger veins. From the larger veins, this lymph carries digested and absorbed fat from intestine and drains excess fluid from extracellular space back into the blood. So once again, this lymph carries all this substance, that is digested and absorbed fat, from the capillaries wall. From capillaries wall, it comes to intercellular space. From intercellular space, it comes to lymphatic capillaries. From lymphatic capillaries, it comes to large lymph vessels, and then finally to larger veins. And then from larger veins, this digested and absorbed fat and excess fluid from extracellular space goes back to the blood. So this is the function of lymph. Once again, lymph is colorless. It consists of plasma and leukocytes only. It contains less plasma proteins and lower concentration of calcium and phosphorus compared to blood. Its flow is very slow. Its path of circulation is from body tissue to heart. If a question arises, what are the difference between blood and lymph, you can write blood is red in color, lymph is colorless. Blood, what are the components of blood? It consists of basically plasma, leukocytes, platelets, etc. But lymph consists of plasma and leukocytes only. Blood contains several plasma proteins and high concentration of calcium and phosphorus, while lymph contains less plasma proteins and low concentration of calcium and phosphorus. The flow of blood is very rapidly, but the flow of lymph is slow. The blood, or the path of circulation of blood, is from heart to body organs and then also from body organs back to heart, but The path of circulation of this body tissues fluid lymph is from body tissue to heart. The path of lymph is one way, the path of blood is two way. So there is difference between blood and lymph. So that's all for today's lecture. I have explained the circulation or circulatory system in human being. Then later in the next video I will explain circulation or transportation in plants. Thank you.